you have become in just, a couple of years, year and a half at Frazier, you built up a really solid book of business, a really solid name for yourself where you're the guy. Like people recognize you as the guy, the roofer, and people think of you when they need a roofer. So let's unpack that a little bit, man. How do you get to that point?
Man, it's crazy how fast that journey actually took off. I was in sales for a long time, and I grew up in such a door knocking lifestyle. Like when people don't realize how long I've really been in sales. And I'll bring this back. I grew up in a Jewish household. Okay. So if you didn't have a job by the age of 13, you were an outcast. Like that just wasn't happening. It was like my dad's like, hey son, like I need you to have a 20-hour week job. Like this, you're just not good.
Nice.
Like I need you to do something. And it's just the way our culture is. Okay. And there's many ways that has been a blessing to me. So my dad utilized me many, many times in his door-to-door sales. I grew up the son of a door-to-door salesman. Okay. Now, when I was real young, he was a phone sales guy, and he would sell ink cartridges from his home office to everyone who had copy machines and printers as a kid.
Those things are expensive, man.
Yeah. And so once that kind of went out, as times developed, what we sell changes. Okay. People weren't buying ink cartridges and selling those things like they were in the 90s, back when everyone had to have a copy machine and all that jazz. So then he went into cable sales. And my dad had a business phone and a personal phone. And he would make me walk streets and hand me his personal phone and say, hey, hand everyone these packets. And if they're interested in cable, call me and I'll come over and I'll close the deal. And so he was utilizing his 14-year-old son to pound 2 times as many doors as him. And he would come over and close the deal. So from the age of like 13 up until the age of about 18, I was door knocking with my dad every day.
What an amazing skill to develop at such a young age. Like door knocking, talking to strangers, like learning to speak and look people in the eye. That must have been such an education.
It was. And it's all I ever knew. Like even he would have me do everything. You had to be the best at everything you did. So I used to have we called it a buddy barrel. And I was a little kid at church, and we had to raise money to put in this thing that would pay money towards missions. And I always collected the most amount of money. And I always asked my dad, like, how? My dad's like, well, go to all the neighbors and ask them if they would like to donate. And it had a coin barrel. And I learned at a young age, if I had the coin, it had a cap, and it had almost like a piggy bank where you put quarters in it. And I realized when I took the cap off, I got dollars instead of coins. And I figured that out really young. And I'm going, okay, cool. I'm going to pop this off and I'm going to collect more money than I would if the cap was on it that tells people put change in here. And I would go to all the doors, and I would, at the end of the year, at the time, being, 6, 7 years old, I'm going, oh, okay, I collected $500 this year walking my neighborhood for Boys and Girls Missionary Crusade, whatever it was. And so those developments always changed. My dad would take me to the bowling alley on Tuesday nights and have him walk around. I would go to all the tables where my dad would bowl with his friends, and I would do the same thing. And so my dad was trying to develop me, building communication skills, building these relationships, because he knew that basketball was not going to cut it for me because I was 5'2" and I wasn't going to go further than that. My dad's like, hey, think about sales. And so I've been doing the door-to-door thing for such a long time that when he helped me develop that, it was so natural for me when I got into roofing. And it was second nature to me. And so many years people have known me and followed me online because no matter what I did, I try to market it the best way I could. And I didn't know I was marketing. I had no idea, Joseph, that I was marketing. I thought I was just sharing people my life. And people kind of followed me from business to business, and they saw my development. And so I had so many people know, like, if Jacob's in roofing, we're going to trust that he's going to do it the right way. Like he cares about the client. And that was kind of like my start getting into sales. And it was just, it's kind of funny that it started at such a young age to develop into what it is today. But I think I've walked over your question where it's like, how did you build your clientele in roofing today?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, it's just interesting what you said about that. Like you've been marketing, not realizing you're marketing because you're just like documenting what you're doing and showing off your story and your projects and what you're selling and things like that. And I think too many people in, the roofing industry and everywhere really, it's like, okay, I'm doing my business. And then, oh yeah, I got to do marketing over here. And it's like this afterthought. And it's this like thing that's like disconnected from the day-to-day business. But really, like the best way that marketing works, as you and I know, is like when you're just sharing what you're doing on a daily basis. It's real, it's authentic. You're giving people a glimpse as to what it looks like to interact with you, to work with you, to become friends with you. have a conversation with you, whatever it is. Like that's what wins today. Not like, all right, I'm doing my day job and then, all right, I want to try to run some ads or this funnel over here. There's just such a disconnect there. So the way that you do it so naturally, like it's, accidental, I guess, but you've seen a lot of success from it, which is why we're talking today.
It's crazy. I call that in a way of doing the right thing the wrong way. And people, and the biggest issue people have is they try something, it doesn't work, and they write it off as this didn't work. No, you did the right thing. You just did it wrong. And people don't connect that. And so it's like, yes, you should market, but you didn't market the way that you should have marketed. And people forget that, because here's the thing that I see, and I love having the cool videos, but we're in the day and time where all these roofers are trying to create these nice, music edit, videos of them doing the roofing and trying to look like, look how cool and pumped up it is. And number one, they're marketing to roofers to show about, hey, look, I'm a better roofer than you. And that's wrong. You're not making any money because roofers aren't buying your roofs. They don't care. You're just, that's all ego. So you're wasting money. And number two is the companies that are spending the amount of money on marketing, I never see last. It's always the startup boom companies that are like, oh, look, we got these cool videos out. And I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying the majority of the ones who have the best content always crash. It's because it's hard to manage doing two great things at one time. It's very difficult. You can do one or the other. Like it's very hard to do two things at full capacity. It's tough. And I've seen many businesses do that. We're going to launch the solar, or we're going to, create this campaign, or, and I've always seen it kind of fumble. But if you quit, the number one thing that I did to help my marketing is I quit selling to roofers. I quit adding my collection of friends as roofers. I literally will go to roofers page. I may go to Joseph Hughes page and look at our friends list. And if I have 500 friends in common with Joseph, that's probably not 500 friends I need. There may be a few of them that I learned from, but most of those are roofers that are adding me, and I'll scroll through that collection of mutual friends, and I'm going down that list, deleting, because I need people to fulfill those spots that only see my content of my stuff. And I mean, they come in every day from that, where people go, hey, Jacob, I don't think we've met, but I see your roofing stuff all the time, and it's because I've added this person on social media because they're in a market that I want to sell to. If not, they're going to see my stuff all the time and refer me to someone that they know. Hey, I see this guy on Facebook, every so often. And the reason I delete the guys, for those who don't know, Facebook only has a limit of 5,000 friends. Other social media doesn't. You can add me as a roofer all you want on Instagram. You can add me as a roofer all you want on Twitter. I don't care. On Facebook marketing, I got 5,000. I have to use those 5,000 very wisely. And a lot of people go, why does Jacob have two Facebooks? Because I want 10,000. That's why I want 10,000. It's very difficult for me to manage both Facebooks. You'll see one where I haven't posted like in 6 months. It's very hard. And so people are marketing the wrong way. Number one, they're marketing to roofers. They're not marketing to their clients. And two, they're spending way too much money on marketing when they really don't have to. It really doesn't take that much money. People are not buying from your roofing company because your music video looked a little cooler. I don't think so. I could be. Somebody might. I'm sure somebody is. Maybe they think their house will be the next music video and they think it'll be cool. But it's like, I just don't think that that's as beneficial. And I think people really want to see the day in and day out of really who you are and marketing that way.